God speaks. I, Archangel Michael, ask you to listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal will shake you and change you forever. Heaven declares, the Lord Himself has finally permitted me to unveil the full identity of the one who seeks to harm you. You've walked for so long carrying questions in your heart. Why are certain doors closed? Why do some betrayals cut so deeply? Why do certain events feel almost orchestrated against you, as if a hidden hand is working tirelessly in the shadows? God says, this is your final chance. This message is not ordinary. It is not just another word. It is a revelation, and it comes with the ticking of time. This truth will not wait for those who ignore it. This message will be sealed in 20 minutes because heaven releases it for you, and only for you. Those who treat it lightly may never again see the light of this revelation. Beloved, God has seen your silent tears, the ones you shed when no one was there to comfort you. He has seen your confusion when betrayal came from the place you least expected, and today, His mercy stretches forth to give you a chance to finally uncover what has been hidden. The one who longs for your downfall has worn a mask for far too long, disguising their intentions with smiles, gestures, and words that seemed gentle but carried poison. I, Michael, defender of God's children, have fought day and night to prevent their plans from destroying you completely. They've hurled darts at you, darts of lies, envy, and confusion. And yet you still stand, because the hand of God has been upon you. But now the time has come for you to see clearly, because if you don't, the danger will only grow. God says, I am exposing the one who seeks to harm you. It's not a stranger from afar. It's someone who got close enough to learn your heart, your steps, your weaknesses, and your desires. They sought intimacy only to manipulate. They drew near only to gather information and use it against you. They smiled when you smiled, but rejoiced in your absence and in your struggles. My child, you were not paranoid. Those strange feelings inside you were not your imagination. That unease you felt whenever you thought of them, the sudden heaviness in your chest, the silent voice warning you in your sleep, that was me, Michael, whispering that something was wrong. You ignored it at times because your heart is kind. You wanted to believe the best. You thought love could heal what was broken. But God says, the time of innocence has passed. I reveal this truth to you because heaven demands it. You stand at the gates of destiny, and your calling is greater than you realize. That's why the enemy has used this person so aggressively, because if they succeed in trapping you, your breakthrough will be delayed. For years, they've envied you. They've watched your life and couldn't bear it. They compared their path to yours, and instead of celebrating you, they grew bitter. It started small, but envy grows like a seed watered by darkness. Now it has matured into dangerous intent. They want to harm not just your reputation, but your peace. They want to see you isolated, doubting yourself, questioning your worth, so that you walk away from the blessings God is pouring over you. But hear me now. God says, this is your final chance to separate from them. Do not look back. Do not linger in conversations that drain you. Do not justify patterns you've already seen. The mask is falling, and God Himself has torn the veil so you can see what has always been. This is not to frighten you. It is to empower you. Because if you remain tied to them, their downfall will pull you into places you were never meant to be. But if you obey, if you listen, heaven will open to you in mercy, and what was meant for evil will be turned for good. I, Michael, have been beside you for years. There were nights when you didn't know you were surrounded by enemies in the spirit, but I struck them down before they could reach you. I protected you from arrows you never saw. You wondered how you survived certain seasons, how you endured storms that others couldn't. It was because I fought for you, because God declared, your life is marked, your mission is sacred, your destiny must be fulfilled. This person, now being revealed, was the sharpest weapon in the enemy's hand. But God says, enough. You remember the sudden, senseless arguments, the sharp shifts in energy whenever you succeeded, the subtle ways they made you question your path. That was no coincidence. It was strategy. They knew that if they could shake your confidence, if they could whisper enough negativity into your spirit, you would begin to self-destruct. And for a time, it almost worked. You doubted yourself. You dimmed your light. You stayed silent when you should have roared. But God says, you will rise again. And when you do, their exposure will be undeniable. That's why heaven sounds the alarm. That's why you hear me so insistently. Do not reject this, because it carries the weight of your future. What I reveal now is not just about protection, it's about positioning. Because once this mask falls and you break free from their grip, you will see how quickly blessings begin to flow. New relationships will form. Divinely orchestrated connections will appear, and you will realize that the obstacle was never your worth. It was the presence of a hidden enemy pretending to be your ally. God says, I give you vision beyond the natural. This person wove themselves into your story, crafted excuses, shed false tears, all to preserve your trust. But look closer. Examine the fruit of their actions, not their words. Words can deceive, but actions never lie. Their actions revealed who they truly are. You saw it in how they dismissed your dreams, diminished your joy, tried to humiliate you. You saw it in how they smiled to your face, but carried your secrets elsewhere. You felt it when your spirit withdrew without explanation. That was me warning you, beloved. This revelation is heavy. I know it will break something inside you, because truth pierces wounds before it heals. But it is better to know and be free than to live in illusion and remain bound. I will not leave you alone in this. As you read these words, angels surround you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what's coming. Heaven rejoices that your eyes are opening, because once truth is seen, it cannot be unseen. God says, the countdown has begun. This revelation will not remain forever. This sacred mystery is entrusted only to those who are ready to hear. In 20 minutes, heaven will seal this word, and only those who receive it in faith will carry its power. You were chosen to hear this. You are the one to whom heaven has entrusted this revelation. Do not miss this moment. Act, obey, guard your spirit, and know this. When you do, I, Michael, stand beside you with sword in hand, shielding you from every arrow, breaking every chain, and ensuring that no plan of the enemy will succeed. The days ahead will confirm these words. You will see signs, confirmations, and undeniable revelations. People around you may even expose themselves without your permission. Truth has a way of rising to the surface when God declares it. Stay vigilant. Do not overlook the small details. Do not ignore sudden revelations in your dreams. Heaven speaks in many ways, and you will see it if you are willing. God says, I will no longer allow you to walk blind. And now I leave you with this final instruction. Trust what you see. Trust what you feel. Trust what God reveals to you. Do not be deceived by false appearances. The time of masks is over. The one who sought to harm you has been exposed. You are free to walk into the destiny God ordained for you since the beginning of time. I, Michael, will not leave you. Stand firm, because your victory has already been written and no one can take it from you. God speaks again. I, Archangel Michael, ask you to listen, because what I am about to reveal will break you and change you forever. This is not a dream. This is not a story. This is not imagination. This is the final truth that has been hidden from you. And heaven has chosen this moment to tear the veil. God has finally permitted me to reveal the full identity of the one who seeks to harm you. The one who stood in the shadows, smiling in the light, while plotting against you in the dark. The one who pretended to care, but secretly sharpened their blade, waiting for your moment of weakness. God says, this is your last chance. This message will be removed in 20 minutes. If you miss it, if you ignore it, the door will close, and the mystery will remain buried. That is why I, Michael, cry out to you now with a voice that shakes the heavens. Because the time appointed by God has reached the hour of unveiling. Beloved, there was someone in your life, close enough to know your dreams, close enough to know your tears, close enough to know your weaknesses. They walked with you, spoke words that made you believe in their loyalty. But behind those words was poison. Behind their smile, envy. Behind their kindness, calculation. They pretended to care, but God says their spirit was never aligned with yours. You suspected something was wrong. You felt the heaviness around them. Their presence drained you, but you doubted yourself. You chose to believe in goodness. You chose to see light even in their shadows. God honored your merciful heart, but now the truth must be revealed. I, Michael, see what you cannot. I stood at the gates of heaven and looked into the book of their deeds. I saw their late-night conversations. I saw their secret meetings. I saw how they looked at your image, not with love, but with heat, envy, and a desire to control. I saw them whispering, plotting, waiting, hoping to witness your fall. And God says, enough. It's time to expose them. It's time for you to know their name. It's time for you to understand why so many strange things have happened around you. Why doors that were once open suddenly slammed shut. Why blessings meant for you seemed delayed. Why relationships that could have healed suddenly collapsed. Why money that was destined for you slipped through your fingers. Beloved, this is not coincidence. This was interference. This was sabotage. This was the hand of someone who wanted to harm you. God says, do not find it strange that the one who hurt you was close. Even in heaven's history, betrayal never came from afar. Judas was close to Jesus. Delilah was close to Samson. Joseph's brothers shared his blood. David's enemies sat in his palace. Do not be surprised, my child, if the enemy wore the mask of intimacy. That's why you couldn't see it clearly before. That's why your heart kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. But God says, today it ends. The mask is torn. The identity is written before your eyes. The mystery is revealed. I, Michael, am no longer permitted to hold back. Listen closely. The one who seeks to harm you bears a name that has been whispered to you before. You heard it in moments of doubt. You saw it in your thoughts when you prayed for clarity. You felt uneasy around them, but you stayed silent because you wanted peace. You wanted love. You wanted unity. But God says, that unease was not random. It was revelation. It was heaven's warning that this person's spirit was not safe. You prayed, God, show me. Are they for me or against me? And today, God answers that prayer. He says, my beloved child, I reveal this to you because you must no longer remain blind. You must no longer allow the serpent to slither into your garden. You must no longer water the root that seeks to choke your destiny. I see the tears in your eyes because you're beginning to understand who it is. The Spirit of God has already whispered it to your heart. As you read these words, you know their face. You know their voice. You remember their conversations. You remember the strange patterns. The times your blessings were delayed always coincided with their presence. The heaviness in your heart always followed your meetings with them. The confusion clouding your mind often came after their words reached your ears. God says, this is not coincidence. This is connection. They attach themselves to you not out of love, but for access. Access to your secrets, access to your path, access to the anointing that rests upon you. But they never wanted your joy. They never wanted your true success. Their envy was disguised as support. Their jealousy hid behind praise. And I, Michael, say, now you must tear the veil. You must finally see. Beloved, I weep, because I know this truth will break you. You will feel betrayed. You will feel angry. You will feel lost. You will ask why God allowed them near you. But God says, do not confuse access with approval. I allowed them near not because they were good for you, but because their presence would become the final proof of my power. I allowed them near so that when I expose them, you will know that I alone am your God, the one who truly protects, truly shields, truly reveals. This is not to destroy you. It is to strengthen you. It is not to end your story. It is to liberate it. For years, their shadow blocked the sunlight over your life, but today, the light breaks through. The one who seeks to harm you is close. They are near. Their initials are etched in your memory. And God says, trust what you feel. Do not doubt the voice of heaven. I, Michael, speak to you plainly. It is the one whose laughter hides mockery, whose gifts come with conditions, whose advice always led you away from your purpose. You've asked, why has the battle been so intense? Why does everything feel like resistance? Why do even my prayers seem delayed? It's because they stood as accusers in the spirit, partnering with forces that oppose your blessing. But heaven has finally broken the silence. God says, I will no longer allow them to prosper while they plot your downfall. I will no longer allow them to feed on your light. I will no longer allow their lies to conceal the truth. Today, their identity is sealed in your heart. Today, their mask is shattered. Today, you are set free. Beloved, I plead with you. Do not ignore this. Do not treat it as another fleeting message. This is not ordinary. This is a divine summons. God says, this is your final chance. This message will be removed within 20 minutes. If you take no action, if you do not acknowledge it, the moment will pass, and the battle will continue. I do not want that for you. That is why I weep. That is why I cry out. That is why I stand between you and the enemy, sword raised, declaring, enough, heaven has decreed it. God commands, you must awaken now. So I say to you again, the one who seeks to harm you has been revealed. Do not return to blindness. Do not choose silence. Stand in truth. Guard your heart. Protect your destiny. God says, I have prepared a blessing for you, and this person will no longer be permitted to sabotage it. Walk away. Disconnect. Break the tie. Do not explain. Do not justify. Do not negotiate. For what fellowship does light have with darkness? What harmony exists between one who loves truth and one who thrives in deception? Separate now, and you will see heaven open. Obey now, and you will see every blocked blessing pour forth. Trust now, and you will see that God has always been faithful. This is your warning. This is your revelation. This is your moment. God says, the identity has been revealed. The choice is yours. What I am about to unveil will break you and change you forever. This is not a word to take lightly. This is not a whisper to dismiss. This is a divine command to open your spirit and receive what heaven is pressing upon you today. For too long, the one who plotted against you walked in shadows, hiding their face, acting in secret, weaving betrayal with cunning born not of innocence, but of deep corruption. God has finally permitted me to reveal the full identity of the one who seeks to harm you. And I tremble, not out of fear of them, but because of what this will mean for you when you finally see what heaven has already seen. God says, this is your final chance. This message will be removed in 20 minutes, and if your heart closes, you will miss the only opportunity to see the truth before it's too late. Beloved soul, your life has been circling in patterns you cannot explain. You've stumbled through delays, betrayals, and losses that seem to have no reason. You thought it was misfortune. You thought it was life. But God says, it was sabotage. The very person who pretended to hold your hand was also placing stones in your path. The one who said, I love you, was whispering curses behind your back. The one who seemed like a friend was a hidden enemy, rejoicing when you cried. And now heaven can no longer keep the veil closed. God says, you must know, you must see, you must hear what is being whispered in the courts of heaven right now, because it concerns you, your future, your destiny, and your soul. I, Michael, have fought in realms you cannot see. For your name, I passed through storms of accusation because the enemy dared to accuse you before the throne, claiming you were unworthy of blessing, unworthy of love, unworthy of breakthrough. But God silenced those accusations, and now He urges me to reveal the truth to you, even if it pierces you. Beloved, the one who seeks to harm you is not a stranger. God says, the one who desires your downfall is not hidden in a distant land, but close, too close. You sat with them, you spoke with them, you trusted them, and it was that closeness that blinded you, closing your eyes to the danger they carried. God says, be ready, for when their identity is revealed, your heart will shatter like glass. You will question everything, every memory, Every conversation, every gesture, you will feel betrayed not only by them but by time itself, wondering how you didn't see. But my child, this is not your fault. Heaven concealed their face from you until now, because the appointed time had not yet come. The trap had not yet been sprung, but now the trap is sealed. And what they meant for evil, God will turn for good, but only if you open your ears right now. Beloved, let me tell you what I've seen. This person stood in rooms where your name was spoken with hatred. They scattered pieces of your life like a game. They took what was sacred and personal and fed it to those who delight in your downfall. They smiled in your face, but clenched their fists in secret. Their prayers for you were not prayers of blessing, but prayers of destruction. They lit candles not to guide you, but to burn your path. And all the while, you trusted, you gave, you believed. But heaven has reached its limit. I, Michael, wept before the throne, because I saw how deeply you loved them and how blind that love made you. I saw the nights you prayed for them, the days you defended them when others accused. You thought you were protecting them, but you were shielding the very weapon raised against you. God speaks no more. This is your final chance to see what heaven sees, to break the chains binding you to your destroyer, to sever the one who poisons your well. Do not think this is small. Do not think this is exaggerated. I tell you, the damage they've already caused exceeds your understanding. They are the reason for your financial delays, the reason opportunities slipped away, the reason relationships collapsed, the reason peace leaves your home at night. They are the storm in your silence, the thorn in your joy, the sickness in your strength. And yet, because they wore the mask of love, you thought it was life's trial. It was not life. It was them. God says, the next 20 minutes are the most important of your life. If you turn away, if you ignore this, if you delay, their mask will remain and their destruction will deepen. But if you listen now, if you open your spirit, I will place in your hand the sword of revelation, and with it, you will cut through the lies and chains that have bound you for years. You will see their face. You will hear their name. And when you do, you will never again doubt that God fights for you. Beloved, I know your heart is fragile. I know you are weary of betrayal. I know you want to believe that those close to you love you. But God says, love without truth is not love. It is bondage. And He loves you too much to let you remain bound. That is why I speak with such urgency. That is why heaven trembles at the sound of my voice right now, because your decision in this moment will open the door either to your liberation or to your destruction. Child of God, hear me clearly. The one who seeks to harm you is not just planning. They have already begun. He is shifting the details even now. Even as you read this, he is speaking, scheming, plotting. His hands are unclean. His mouth does not rest. His intentions are no longer hidden in his heart. They are already in motion. And if you do not see it, you will walk straight into the trap he has set. God says, I have given you eyes to see, ears to hear, and the fire of discernment, but you must receive it. This is your final chance. These are your warnings. This is the trumpet before the battle. You no longer have time to waste. I, Michael, plead with you, not as a servant, but as one who has fought for every breath you've taken. Do not ignore this. Do not delay. Do not close your ears. This is not a comforting word. This is not a fleeting message. This is the sword of truth. It cuts deep, but it will save you. God says, "The one who seeks to harm you has already marked your name." They thought no one saw. They thought heaven was blind. They thought your prayers went unanswered. But I, Michael, recorded every deed in the book of remembrance before the throne. And today, God has commanded me to reveal them to you. This is your final chance. Beloved, prepare your heart, because once you know, you cannot unknow. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once their name echoes in your spirit, you will be changed forever. But in that change lies your freedom, your deliverance, your breakthrough. God says, in the next moment, everything will shift. Your identity will be revealed. Chains will break, and you will finally understand why your life has felt like an endless storm. This is your last chance. Do not miss it. This is sacred. This is necessary, and it is meant for you alone. I, Archangel Michael, stand before you with a sword of light, not to harm, but to protect, to shield, and to lead you into the full truth that heaven has long concealed until this very moment. God Himself has unveiled this truth in your life, because the hour has come. You must not ignore it. You must not close your heart. You must not hesitate for even a breath, because time is moving swiftly, and heaven has set a limit on how long this warning will remain with you. I speak with the voice of thunder, but also with the tenderness of love. Someone has sought your destruction. Their words reached higher courts than they ever imagined. Their whispers, their betrayals, their secret deeds done in the shadows have been weighed before the throne of the Almighty. For a long time, heaven remained silent. God allowed them to move, to test, to reveal the depth of their intentions. But today, the silence of heaven has been broken. The sword of truth descends. I am permitted to speak what I was once forbidden to say, and this is your final chance. If you receive this with faith, you will be safe, protected, and lifted into victory. But if you dismiss it, the storm will find you. Do not be afraid, child. God reveals this not to leave you broken, but because He loves you more than you can imagine. He has counted your tears. He has seen the nights you tossed on your pillow, unable to find peace. He watched as you questioned your worth because of the shadow of betrayal cast by those who pretended to be your allies but secretly stood against you. But heaven has declared, the masquerade can no longer continue. Today, the mask is torn. Today, the name is spoken. Today, the truth hidden in darkness stands in the radiant light of God's glory. I say again, this message will be removed. It is not meant to linger like ordinary words. It is living fire. It is the trumpet sound from heaven. It is meant to shake you, awaken you, and align you with God's plan. For years, you've fought battles you didn't even know existed. The person you trusted, welcomed close, the one who smiled but secretly plotted, that is the very one who tried to harm you. Their intentions were hidden. They believed their secrecy was flawless. But nothing is hidden from God. Even whispers in locked rooms are loud before His throne. Even the thoughts of the heart are read like an open book in His eyes. Child, understand. Heaven reveals not to shame you, but to save you. You were protected even when you didn't know danger was near. When poison was meant for you, God blocked its path. When words were spoken against you, angels deflected them. When traps were laid, the Spirit led you another way. You thought it was coincidence, but it was the hand of heaven preserving your life, because your destiny is greater than their schemes. But now the hour has come for you to see clearly what you could not see before. The time of pretending is over. The season of blindness has passed. Now you must walk in truth. I, Archangel Michael, urge you, do not take this lightly. The enemy hiding behind familiar faces is more dangerous than you think. They smiled at your joy, but cursed your blessings in their heart. They nodded when you spoke, but secretly hoped for your downfall. They saw your rise and were consumed with envy. They craved what you carry. They desired your destiny, your inheritance, your anointing, your peace. But what God placed in you cannot be stolen. Whatever they plot, they cannot take what heaven has sealed. And yet their rage grew because they could not possess it. So they turned to darker schemes. Child, you must see this clearly. You were never alone. You thought no one saw your hidden pain, but heaven recorded every detail. God Himself was your witness. That is why He sends me now, with urgency, with fire, with finality. I am not permitted to delay. You must open your heart to truth, because your deliverance depends on it. I see your longing for answers. I see the torment of confusion. You've asked why doors keep closing. You've asked why betrayal cuts so deep. You've asked why people grow cold without reason. And the Spirit of God whispers, it is because of the influence of the one who sought to harm you. They spread words against you. They poured poison in secret conversations. They acted sweet before you, but sour behind you. And their influence touched those who could not discern truth. That's why people changed. That's why friendships dissolved. That's why you felt alone. But child, God says, rejoice, for what was meant for evil will be turned for good. Now the name must be known. The revelation is open. Heaven hides nothing. You will know without doubt who it is, because God will confirm it in your spirit. The moment you hear it, you will feel the weight lift. You will feel peace descend. You will know it is truth. For truth always carries the fragrance of heaven. And though it will hurt, though your heart may break when you see how deeply they deceived you, it will also set you free, because only truth can liberate you. Listen closely. This revelation is not meant to break you, but to pull you into freedom, to release you from chains you didn't know existed, to free you from illusions you believed, to rescue you from traps laid for your feet, to break the cycles that kept repeating. God says, enough. You will not be bound by their schemes another day.